hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And we got Corey starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Sunshine State. Tonight, we're just a short drive away from the beauty of South Beach in Homestead, Florida. Last week at Iowa, many of our drivers in both the East and West conferences were assessed post-race penalties during 2 heated races in Newton. However, once things cooled down, Wesley Burke notched an AM Division win into his belt, and Julian Kauser picked up the pro win after overtime in the West. Daniel Parks, meanwhile, he picked up his pro win in the East, while Cedarius Days earned his first AM win in the East. Tonight, we turn our attention to this beautiful stretch of palm tree-lined asphalt just outside of Miami. So settle in and let's get ready to roll. I'm Dave Riegel with your coverage of the West Division, alongside Corey Smith, who will be covering the East Division in the broadcast booth, with the king of dual race production, Eddie Smith, on the 1s and 2s and everything in between, because we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on V-Speed. And folks, we want to welcome everybody in. We want to thank you for making us a part of your evening, for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. We've got a busy night tonight. It's cutoff night, as this is our last race of the regular season as we get ready to roll around this 1.5-mile stretch of asphalt, as I had mentioned. And Corey, listen, I mean, you picked a good week to be in here to get around this 1.5-mile, 18 to 20-degree bank turns with 3 degrees in the backstretch. What do you think we're going to see tonight here at Homestead?
Well, there's only a couple of certainties in life, and the first one is Homestead always delivers. This is going to be a great race, and there's nowhere better to finish the regular season. The other certainty is 8 drivers from the Pro and AM division are going to be in the playoffs, and everybody else won't be when it's all over. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, being, cutoff night tonight, I mean, even trying to get around this piece, we're looking at some of our points. And, of course, right here at the edge, only the top 8 from each division, Pro and AM, will make it in. Now, here in the West, of course, which is going to fire off first, Tyler Justice sits atop the Pro standings, and Daniel Parks is going to sit atop the AM standings. And we can see that right here on the list. I mean, Joseph McWhorter just below the cut line by just 4 points. Jacob Lanke trails Dave Calvert Sr. by a good chunk, but I mean, with an extra little bump there in the win column, that could get Jacob Lanke over that line tonight. So that could be a win and in situation. I mean, there's a couple of other interesting drivers here. I mean, Alan Bergen safely ensconced in that top 8. And, Daniel Parks with just 3 points over top of Kevin Price on the AM side. Barrett Morton and Tim Peters in a dead heat for P2 right now in the West Pro standings. So, all things considered, there's a lot going on, and we've got to buckle in and get ready here, at least in the West standings. If we flip things on over to the East standings, of course, Corey, you haven't been around too much yet this season, but, Mark Whitley has just been a dominant force. I mean, 5 wins over the season, where Christian Angel picks up the other win. Jake Ellingson below the cut line and trails James Goshen by just 1 point, and 8 points separating Brandon Wallace from James Goshen on the pro side. Meanwhile, over on the AM side, Claire Sisk is looking from the outside on the way in, as she's trailing Josh Unger by about 10 points to make it in there. However, on that AM side, you see a lot more, let's just say spreadability, if you will, with the wins. I mean, 2 for Kyle Deering and Alan Smith, 1 apiece for Patrick Fuller, Mark Cofield, Sedarius Days, who picked up that all-important first win of the season last week, and Samuel Yosef getting a win as well. So a little bit more, spread out points over on the AM side. But all things considered, it's absolutely cutoff night. Let's take a look at that schedule as we bring that up in the middle of the screen. As here's the thing. We've been doing this now for week after week, since August, and we're now right in the heat of November. Next week, we take that round of 8 to Lucas Oil Speedway, or IRP. Then we go to Old Atlanta. And, Corey, I don't know what you feel about Old Atlanta, but to me, Old Atlanta is where the racing is real and the goats are scared.
Well, if there's one thing about Old Atlanta I love, it is old, it is worn out, it is bumpy, and it makes for great racing.
It does. I mean, that old track has quite the character. I mean, I think they did themselves a disservice when they repaved it. But then, of course, Championship 4 night going to be December 15th. So really not that far away. I mean, folks, I can't believe that we're already talking about November. We just changed the clocks back. But that's going to be December 15th right here on V-Speed at Kentucky Speedway. And, all things considered, this has just been an incredible season. Of course, our first here with the Goat Locker Racing Club Station ARCA Series live here on V-Speed as we get ready to tip our cap here, at least in the Western Division, for our Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner, as qualifying just about wrapped up. Of course, Jam Printing and Promotions out of Plainfield, Indiana. We are local and we are veteran certified. And when we do well, we do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits. And they provide GLR with all promotional items. And of course, they are the sponsor of the Pole Award, which tonight goes to Joseph McWhorter in the number 72 out of St. Robert. He's going to be joined in the front row by Jeremiah Holt. Starting in third position, going to be Tyler Justice, and to the outside of row number 2 is Ashton Azro Nolan. George Jewell out of Lakeview, Michigan, going to be starting in fifth position with Daniel Selway out of Canton, Ohio, going to be on the outside of row number 3. Row 4 features Logan Threlkeld and Barry Stevens, and rounding out your starting top 10 here in the West is Skylar Daly and Dave Calvert Sr. in that 90 machine. Starting 11th and on the inside of row number 6 is Daniel Park with Brock Price in row number 6. We start to work a little bit deeper here into the field, and Jacob Lanke and Charles Abert going to be in row number 7. Jason Kristen has the 82 lined up alongside of Julian Kauser in row number 8, while row 9 features Bobby Bender and Casey Jones. Rounding out the starting top 20 is Armando Melgosa and Chuck Pegleg Feltz in the 75 machine, with Hayden Muir and Warren Clayton starting 21st and 22nd. Alan Bergen and Brian Frauheiger start things off here in row number 12 as Craig Bontrager and Barrett Morton hold things down at row number 13. Row 14 features Thaddeus Friel Jr. and Kevin Price, with Darren Price starting in 29th, with Mike Lemieux and Regis Clark not making the start at this point. So looks like it's going to be 29 drivers taking the green flag tonight. Not a bad performance, all things considered, as we get ready to roll here from Homestead Miami Speedway. We want to thank all of you once again for hanging out with us. Of course, it's 80 laps the scheduled distance to boogie around this place, and all things considered, I think these drivers know exactly what they're going to have to do to get things done. We're going to see a lot of these guys riding that high line. It's kind of a Dale Earnhardt Jr. line as the iRacing.com pace car brings us down the back chute. Of course, what a beautiful scene here at Homestead, Miami. Been there a few times now, and it is just a great place to watch a race. Big old lake right there in the middle. And, of course, the palm tree-lined backstretch to me is just, it looks great from the inside or the outside of the racetrack. The iRacing.com pace car heads on down pit road, and the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, off we go at Homestead Miami Speedway. The West Division gets going nice and early as Joseph McWhorter has the 72 out to a nice start. Tyler Justice now sliding in behind as all of a sudden it seems like everybody thinking, let's go single file and see if we can pick one another off. There's a lot of mess, though, back deeper in the field. We see some spots swapping with Dave Calvert here, and looking to the inside now is Barry Stevens in the 8 machine. Oh, and they touch, and the 71 of Daniel Parks bouncing off of the 8 of Barry Stevens, and now the 7 of Charles Abert shuffled back as well, just in front of the 9. A near miss. We stay green here on lap number 2. It was getting a little dicey there, but they managed to hold this one together. And you don't want to start your race off with bad things happening. They keep it moving forward here. Another little kiss of the wall there out of the 78. And laying fast time down on the racetrack right now is the double deuce. That's Skylar Daly. And I can't see who that is up rubbing the wall. That's the 72. My goodness. A little early to be up there. That's McWhorter now leading the race. The 61 of Daniel Selway Jr. starting to drift back. We go on board now with Skylar Daly in the double deuce, who now trails just behind, to the inside. The 42 nearly caught him, but now gets just behind the 61 of Daniel Selway. Daly looking to the high side as the caution comes out for the first time here tonight. And with the caution, the question is, who's it going to be? And the 96 pointed the wrong direction. Bobby Bender, you can't park that way, sir. Going to have to get on down there. Looks like that toe link has broke. That front left wheel is cocked all kinds of bin. You see Bobby Bender here in the 96 drifting up the racetrack. And right across the nose, I believe that was, I couldn't see who that was. Was that the 62 perhaps? 62, 68, 62. And I think that's somebody with the wrong paint scheme because I don't see a 62 on my roster. That's helpful. Well, the 96 going to have to get pointed back the right way, and you can see that front left wheel is just all kinds of cocked in. That might be either a really rough drive back to pit road, and it is, or maybe having to tow, but it looks like the 96 able to point the right direction now, at least for the time being. So after just 5 laps, we bring out the first caution of the evening. Joseph McWhorter, he's going to be your race leader as the 96 going to have to slide in here real nice and easy. Bobby Bender overshoots the pit box, and I think we're going to see maybe, nope, I don't see a fast repair being used. Looks like they got the wheels changed on, the tires changed on here. And with that, Joseph McWhorter going to retain the race lead with Tyler Justice and Jeremiah Holt swapping positions early here in this one. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. And, of course, we want to thank our good friends here at Glove Station, without whom we wouldn't be on the air. Here at Glove Station, we are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, we've got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. You can head on over there to glovestation.com, check out their wares, and got to tell you, a great product lineup. And of course, we also wouldn't be here without our friends and family at Goat Locker Racing. You can head on over to goatlockerracing.org/donate. And you know, as a contributor to Goat Locker Racing, we make sure that your donation goes directly to supporting our cause of helping military veterans and first responders, and we thank you in advance for your generosity. You can quick hit that QR code right in the middle of your screen, and you know, the community here at Goat Locker Racing, I think, speaks volumes far and above what iRacing as a whole is. Of course, you know, this is giving a place for first responders and veterans to have a sense of community, especially, you know, for veterans making the transition back into being civilians. And, you know, of course, with some of the issues that veterans coming home experience, this place treats you like family. They treat you like you've been here for years, and it's honestly what keeps me coming to work every Monday night, and I cannot be more appreciative of the opportunity that Goat Locker has given all of these folks on the track and, of course, here in the broadcast booth. As we are live here on V-Speed, East action going to be coming up in just a little bit now. Probably in about 10 minutes, we check in with all of these drivers on their webcams. Of course, George Jewell here. That's a cool red light. Alan Bergen with the race gloves. Look at this fella right here. That's a face only a mother should have drowned in the water. Chuck Pegleg Feltz with the muscle man look tonight. I'm not messing with him. And, of course, Logan Threlkeld with the Santa suit on, getting ready to bring us home. There's Bobby Bender as he's got himself rolling again. Charles Abert. The whole crew is up here. This is like watching the opening for the Brady Bunch. Joseph McWhorter goes side by side with the 33 of Tyler Justice. Jeremiah Holt going to be just behind McWhorter. Pace car is off. The green flag's in the air, and we go back racing here at Homestead, Miami. Joseph McWhorter jumps out in front of the 33. And now the 73 of Jeremiah Holt looking for a place to go. He's going to have to slide in behind the 33 for now as we get back underway, and they are side by side just behind him. Watch the 36 and the 61 as George Jewell in the Daniel Selway in the 61 is looking for any kind of real estate that he can to get down, but Logan Threlkeld is in the way and taking away that low line. But, you know, here at Homestead, this is a place where sometimes that upper line gives you just enough stability that you can really roll out of the corners nicely here. As we work on lap number 9, we go under caution once again, waiting to see what may have popped off here. I don't see anybody. That's a problem. That's Dave Calvert Sr. Backwards he goes. Nothing but a bunch of smoke coming out of the 90. Let's see what happens as we go to the V-Speed instant replay. Calvert here in just a hornet's nest, just over top. Oh my, just underneath Barrett Morton. Oh, and he drifted up, and Barrett Morton just kind of clipped his rear end, and of course Morton goes the wrong way. Ugh, that's a rough start for Dave Calvert Sr. We get another look at this from the cockpit of Barrett Morton. We go to the roof cam, and you can see Calvert just coming up and just getting himself wrapped around the nose of Morton. And Morton had already worked himself up 3 positions as he was being scored in 25th after qualifying 28th. And we get things racked and restacked here at Homestead, Miami. Joseph McWhorter, of course, leading our pro division. And folks, for those of you that don't know, what we do here at the Goat Locker Glove Station ARCA Series, not only do we have the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, but we also have pro divisions and AM divisions in each of those 2 conferences. So Joseph McWhorter leads the pro division right now as he leads the race, but Skylar Daly, who may be running 7th overall, is actually the top driver on the AM side. So, you know, when you see this split here on the left-hand side of your screen that Eddie has worked so hard to get right, and my goodness, what an amazing graphic it is. You know, you can see where your favorite AM driver is running right now. Then you can also see where your favorite pro driver is. I mean, you know, you may have a pro driver that's running, you know, 23rd, but is actually being scored 10th on the pro side. So right now it's Skylar Daly, Azra Nolan, then Brock Price there in the 43, Daniel Parks in the 71, Charles Abert. And, of course, we talked about Bender earlier, who's running 16th in the AM division. Joseph McWhorter Tyler Justice, Jeremiah Holt, and George Jewell, that's your top 4, and Daniel Selway, your top 5 on the pro side. So, don't be afraid to ask questions, or of course, get a little bit of clarification here with our divisions within the conferences. I think Eddie, we're going to have to start calling them East and West conferences because we've got divisions for the pro and the am. Or at least that's what I'm going to start calling it. Seems to work. As we work here on lap number 11, it's going to be McWhorter, Justice, Holt, Jewell, Selway, Threlkeld, Daly, Nolan, and Price, with Jason Kristen in the 82 rounding out your restarting top 10. And since we seem to have that much time here at the beginning of this one, we want to tip our cap to Lincoln Tech. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they are the title sponsor of the Fall Series and a very large partner of Goat Locker Racing. And got to be honest, I just discovered that we have a Lincoln Tech campus just north of Philadelphia in a little town called Allentown up the road from here. So check them out, of course, especially if you have an interest in automotive technology. Joseph McWhorter now sitting behind the iRacing.com pace car. We're 2x2 stacked up Noah's Ark style. As the pace car lights are out, that means that we'll be going back green flag racing this time by. The iRacing.com pace car coming out of turn number 4. 3, 2, 1, and it peels out of the way. McWhorter comes into the painted zone, hits the restart zone, and we go back underway, green flag in the air. Joseph McWhorter gets a good start, and side by side go Jeremiah Holt and Tyler Justice. It's been a rough night on the racetrack. A couple of cautions already here in the West Division, but now single file they go. It seems like this top 10, top 12 really starts to understand. We go back a little bit further, the 22 now. That double deuce of Skylar Daly side by side with Logan Threlkeld in the 30 as we roll out of turn 4 once again and back to the front stretch. They're still duking it out, and now the 22 of Skylar Daly dips down behind the 30. And right now, folks, it's time to go grid up there in the East Division. Hey, Corey, let's rock and roll.
Thank you very much, Dave. And you know what? I will adopt your conferences. Welcome to the Eastern Conference, everybody. It's great to have you aboard, and we are ready to get the engines fired here. Qualifying is complete. And Patrick Fuller is your Jam Printing Promotions Pole Award winner with a 32.599. He'll be starting alongside Mark Whitley in second place, your pro points leader in row 2. Sean Kaiser in the 46 with Ryzen Baker's Ford Mustang. Row number 3, going to be Jake Ham in the 85 next to Samuel Yosef in the 65. Row 4 is Alan Smith. And outside of Alan is going to be the 79 of Christian Angel. Wesley Burke and Jacob Ellickson make up 9th and 10th for row 5. And Brandon Wallace and Mark Cofield are in row 6. Row 7 is going to be Kyle Deering in the number 50 and James Goshen, somebody on the outside of the Pro Division playoffs looking in. Row 8 is going to be the number 86 of Timothy Wilms and the Ford Mustang of Sidarius Day. 17th is going to be Benjamin Richards in the 56, followed by the number 44 of John Huchin. Kevin Calkins in the 11 put up a 19th best qualifying time with Jamie Lipke in the 16 and 20th. 21st is going to be the 02 of Michael Jones and his Toyota Camry with 51 of Josh Unger outside of him. Row 12 is going to be Andrew Carnes in the 19 with Jonathan Lawless in the 76. 25th is going to be Melissa Dyer in the 64 Ford Mustang with Colton Sisk to her outside. 27th is going to be Claire Sisk in the number 12 car with Andrew McCarrigill in the 05, starting 28th. And that's your field here in the Eastern Conference as we got our pace lap. We're getting ready to go. We've already seen a lot of action in the Western Conference. Let's see if that translates over here as they form up on the backstretch. Sun going down here in Homestead. Beautiful weather. We're looking at about a 77-degree night with an 81-degree track temp. You couldn't ask for a better night of racing. And we're getting ready to get underway here as the pace car is heading into turn 3. We're just about ready to get underway here in the East. Going to be interesting to see tonight. It's been a couple of stories. Mark Whitley versus the world, and then can the people on the outside of the playoff picture find a way in, or can the 7th and 8th place drivers take care of business? We're going to find out because it's green flag and we're underway from Homestead. They're going to shuffle out and go 3 wide into turn 3 for the first time. You're seeing them make a lot of moves as Ryzen Baker leads them across the front stretch for turn 1. You got the 46 of Sean Kaiser, who's worked his way in a second, taking the low line. But above him is going to be Patrick Fuller in the black number 13. He's going to try to rip the top and make it work. Can he do it? He's going to have a run coming off of 2. And he's going to get side by side. No, he's going to, oh, there's contact in the rear. He gets bumped by Jake Ham. And Jake's going to lose a few spots. No damage done to Fuller. He's going to be okay, and he's going to be in second with a run off the top. Side by side with Sean Kaiser. Oh, and there's a wreck in the back. Big trouble. 7, 8 cars. And that's going to be the first caution here as we start lap 3. Take a look and see what happened here as you see the 27 involved. On your V-Speed Insta Replay, looked like they were clean going into 3, but coming out of 4, you're going to have the 65 of Samuel Joseph. Gets a little bit of help there from the 85 of Jake Ham. And that's enough to cause a traffic jam in the back, and there's going to be a lot of damage. You see the 27 of Jake Ellingson hit the inside wall. He reacted, caught the outside, and it sent him down, and unfortunate for him, he's going to have to do some repairs. So we got 3 meatballs on that crash alone. A lot of cars going to be utilizing their fast repair very early in this race. Still a long way to go in the East. Dave, let's catch up on the West.
Things have been pretty heated so far on the West, but, you know, a few things cooled down as we head on back in here. Joseph McWhorter, still your race leader, but Tyler Justice has been quietly starting to creep up and trying to get in on McWhorter. And the thing is, Joseph McWhorter is one of those drivers that knows exactly how much he has left in his equipment, and he knows exactly how long he's going to have to drag it out in order to burn your stuff off from, you know, in front of you. So Joseph McWhorter leads the way. He's got Tyler Justice, Jeremiah Holt, Daniel Selway, and George Jewell. That's your top 5. We go on board now with the Majors Garage Cam. And, of course, as we get loaded up here, that's Tyler Justice out of Byron, Georgia. And, I mean, he's got a great entry, and he's really just matching Joseph McWhorter step for step. We go in the cockpit, and, I mean, all things considered, these two are stuck together like glue. It looks like Justice just doesn't want to come out of that lane, and I don't blame him. He's going to have to stay there, at least for the time being. As they roll out of turn 4 and back to the front stretch, Justice basically keeping that 0.2 of a second and maybe a little less than 0.2 of a second gap. He was as high as 3.5 tenths of a second. Now gets himself all the way down to just about a quarter. And folks, we're working lap number 26 of 80 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. You're watching the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series Western Conference. Of course, Corey Smith over on the Eastern Conference. You just heard from them over there. And now, wow, that is looking like it's trying to be a mess. 3 wide. Watch the double deuce now. Skylar. Oh! The 42 is sideways. The 42 of Azra Nolan goes around the 49 as well. And I'm not sure if the 49 meant to do that. But that's Craig Bontrager. Let's see if we go back here to the replay. And let's watch that replay. Watch the double deuce slinking out of the way, and maybe the 42 just tried to check up and get out of the double deuce's way and came right into Craig Bontrager. And they both go pirouetting down onto that paint. And I'll tell you what, folks, there is no grip down in that paint. Speaking as somebody who has walked that entire front stretch, if it rains, you're going to slip. Even on a sunny day, you're going to slip. It doesn't matter how much of that shark bite stuff or that whatever that sprinkly stuff is that Sherwin-Williams makes to throw in there. It's definitely not porch and floor enamel, that's for sure. But we get racked and stacked all over again. It's going to be McWhorter, Justice, Holt, Selway, Jewell, Threlkeld, Aber, Kauser, Price, and Daly. Right now it looks like Fuller is our AM leader as we head back on over to the east.
Welcome back to the east. We're lights out on the pace car, getting ready to take the green. What you missed while we were gone under caution, we had 8 cars pit for damage, and the 085 got an end of line for causing it. As we're back underway, and Ryzen Baker, they stack up behind him. He gets away. The 46 of Sean Kaiser, he's right behind him, just a couple car lengths. Then you have the 79 of Christian Angel coming around as well, trying to pick up that draft down the back straightaway. Wesley Burke in the 09 makes a pass for 4th place, trying to catch up to that 3rd place car of Angel. They're single file 5 back, and then they're 2x2 the rest of the way. Coming around to lap 7 of 80 with a long way to go here, and a lot of playoff implications for the cars in that last caution. And Christian Angel's going to come around the outside and make the high line work. Takes away 2nd place with a big run on Ryzen Baker, heading down into 3. Angel takes the 2nd line up, gets a good run coming around Ryzen Baker for the lead. They're side by side as they get down the straightaway. At the stripe, it's gonna be Angel, gonna lead that lap as they go down into turn 1. Ryzen Baker sticks the nose out, has the lead for a second. They are side by side again, coming out of 2, and there's a little contact. The contact's going to send Baker down to the apron. It's going to slow them both down, and the 46 of Kaiser's going to catch him. It's a 4-horse race for 1st place. Now they're 2x2 all the way through the top 10. Angel coming around to lead the next lap, going to be clear of Bryson Baker, as now they've started a single file out. The 46 of Kaiser has a run going into 1. Trying to find the back of Ryzen Baker, can't do it, not going to have it. Baker has a run going down the back straightaway, going to set up for a pass on turn 3, and there's a caution behind. Caution's out on the speedway. Looks like the 97 of Mark Cofield was involved in that. Let's see if we can get a look at that V-Speed Instant Replay and determine what happened on that one. Cofield was on the bottom making that work. Go 3 wide. That doesn't always work, and just comes up into the 44 of John Huchin. That's going to be a couple more cars damaged, and we'll see what happens here. Another look for you on board with Huchin. Yeah, it looks like he was just trying to not be 30 wide anymore, and there just wasn't enough room for everybody. So we're under caution here, pacing, and we'll have to see what the strategy is here. Again, 8 cars with damage that they've had to repair. Some have taken their fast repairs. Cofield is the next one with a meatball, so you know he'll be in for repairs. We'll see if some people come in for some fuel or maybe tires and see if they can get a long green run here and maybe set up some strategy. And here comes the leader. Oh, he fakes it. Will there be any takers? A couple, but all right, we're going to send it over back to the west. They're green and running. Dave.
And oh, wow. And just as we come back, it looks like there is a mess deep in the field here. Looks like the 73 of Jeremiah Holt involved. I think that was probably, oh, nope, maybe not. It was Armando Melgoza. My goodness, just as we come back, all kind of hell has broken loose. Watch where the 73 is, where Jeremiah Holt is. The 91 just over top as they come out of turn 4. Oof. The 73 coming right across. It seems like maybe that's almost a calamity corner situation, as we've seen a lot of drivers come out of turn 4 and bad things happening to them. That, of course, was Huling Kauser in the 91. But the 73 of Jeremiah Holt, all kinds of banged up here, trying to get back going once again. Maybe we'll catch that from another angle, because, I mean, you know, we're just approaching that halfway point. We're 33 laps in, so less than 50 to go now. And, you know, overall, the mess has not been toward, you know, in that top 10, top 12. The mess has all started to kind of be from that mid-pack. And, I mean, you know, that's probably where the least amount of real estate is on the racetrack. Of course, drivers giving themselves the least amount of room. And I think it's really important, especially when you're dealing with, you know, some of these drivers, especially, you know, the drivers that may not be as experienced or skilled as others. Give them plenty of room. You're not doing anybody any favors by racing hard against somebody who can't afford to race hard. You know, and you don't want to burn that fast repair too early, as now, of course, pit stops are underway. Got a couple of drivers taking the choice to come on down pit road. Brock Price and Brian Frauheiger, they come down. They're going to get pit service, while the iRacing.com pace car waits to pick up everybody else. A couple of drivers perhaps getting the free pass by staying out. Not the end of the world for sure, but Jeremiah Holt has got to be angrier than a hornet right now. Oddly enough, that's going to cycle Barrett Morton up to your race lead. Now, you know, some of this is going to come, of course, from pit strategy, but, you know, maybe taking just 2 tires instead of 4. But, you know, everybody was down on lap number 28, with the exception of Bontrager and now Price, Holt, Frauheiger, and Friel. But Barrett Morton, I can only assume, came down for 2 tires, as that pit time was about 7 seconds less than everybody else. Actually, only 6.83 seconds on the pit stop for Morton, so I can only assume that that is just 2 tires and a splash of fuel. I mean, at 6 seconds, 65%, you're probably only getting about 3/4 of a tank. But obviously banking on an additional pit stop, at least one additional pit stop here tonight. Of course, drivers tonight they're being equipped with 65% fuel, 4 total sets of tires. So they start, you know, they start 1, they lay 3. But Barrett Morton, Tyler Justice, Daniel Selway Jr., Joseph McWhorter, Logan Threlkeld, George Jewell, Huling Kauser, Charles Aber, Barry Stevens, and Skylar Daly. That's your overall top 10. Now, Charles Aber leads the AM drivers right now with Skylar Daly just behind in the 22. Jacob Lenke, then Kevin Price, David Calvert. That's your top 5 on the AM side. And then, of course, it's Morton, Justice, Selway, McWhorter, and Threlkeld. That's your top 5 overall and on the pro side. Charles Aber in the 7th, running in 8th position right now. And one of the things that we've seen over the last several weeks is that AM winner is coming out of the overall 7th position. So I don't know if that's just the witching hour or what the secret formula is there. But it sure seems like 7th position is the magic place for these drivers to be when they need to get that AM win. Dave Regal with you here in the V-Speed broadcast booth. Of course, Corey Smith over covering the Eastern Conference, and Eddie Smith out in the production truck. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Barrett Morton grabs hold of that harness, drops his foot through the floor, and off we go here on lap number 35. Now 36. Now we're approaching that all-important halfway point. Side by side goes the 33 and the 61. They've got a 3-car knot here trying to hold McWhorter off, because the 61 and the 33, contact between the 61 and the 33. That could have been dangerous on turn 2 exit. We'll see if they try to pull this one off again here coming out of 4. They go fender to fender through turns 3 and 4. The 33 now being pushed along by the 72. Everybody comes out of 4 and down the backstretch nice and safe, but wheel to wheel go the 31 and the 33 and the 61. The 61 now of Daniel Selway. He drifts up a little higher on the racetrack, giving a lot of room and looking maybe for a little bit more momentum to draft up right behind the 33 of Tyler Justice. Justice is getting ready to slide in front of McWhorter, and now Justice peeks to the inside of Barrett Morton, your race leader. It was a rough restart, but, all drivers are going to be given a warning, and there will be DTs handed out for hanging back. That's a rough start. Tyler Justice laying fast time down at 32.65 seconds, beating out Barrett Morton by about 15/10 of a second. And I do apologize, that was 32.65 for Tyler Justice. As Barrett Morton leads the way, Justice now looks in the rearview mirror and sees nothing but a battle between the 72 and the 61. Daniel Selway and Joseph McWhorter, they look like they want to lock horns, and the 61 of Selway has just been out here battling. He's definitely found a lot of nice racetrack up here on the high side. Oh, coming up and now almost kissing the rear bumper of the 72. They nearly make contact down the backstretch. The 61 was wound up like crazy. All kinds of momentum coming down from the high side and nearly cleaning the clock of Joseph McWhorter as McWhorter now runs the high line, crosses the start-finish line. We hit lap number 40, and that's going to be the halfway point. So we've made it. Now McWhorter just sliced directly underneath of Tyler Justice like a hot knife through butter, and now McWhorter regains the race lead, throws himself up in front of the 9 as window net to window net go the 9 and the 33. Morton and Justice duking it out behind Joseph McWhorter, and now they go wheel to wheel coming out of turn 4 and back to the front stretch. All of a sudden, Barrett Morton is a man on a mission. He's not happy about losing the race lead to McWhorter, who usually, retains these leads for a lot longer, that's for sure. Selway here still trying to hold on to the high line, and now the 33 of Tyler Justice smells something more. Justice peeked to the high side of Morton. They're not going to make the attempt now, but Morton may think he's found a way to get around McWhorter. Barrett Morton out of Louisville, Kentucky, now running here just ahead of Tyler Justice in the 33, who we go on board with. Tyler Justice almost bump drafting the 9 of Morton in the Majors Garage machine. Looks out his rearview mirror, and my goodness, Threlkeld and Selway duking it out. And, Selway just seems to be in a fighting kind of mood. It seems like every time we look at him tonight, he's battling with somebody. They're single file all the way back into 7th position, where Charles Abert has lucky number 7, running back just behind George Jewell. Jewell in the 36 has already lost the spot. He qualified top 5, but gaining the most positions on the racetrack right now, Barrett Morton is plus 24. Let's take a look here at George Jewell out of Lakeview, Michigan. Started 5th, hasn't led a lap yet tonight, but Jewell doing his very best right now to stay out of trouble and keep that nose clean. You can't battle it out for that checkered flag unless you're on that last lap. So sometimes you've got to take a little bit of a careful approach to getting up there and trying to lead laps at a place like this. We go on board now with George Jewell, who's wound up almost to 186 miles per hour. He tops out at 185 down the front stretch, that is. As he's watching a battle for the ages now between Threlkeld and Selway Jr. And the 33 and the 9 still swapping positions, as now the 33 crawls into P2. Barrett Morton back into P3. The Byron, Georgia native, Tyler Justice, now gets himself back up into 2nd position, at least for the time being. For timing and scoring, it looks like that's where we're going to be as we work lap number 45 of 80. You're watching the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series Western Conference live here on V-Speed. Barrett Morton looks high, low, and now goes single file behind Tyler Justice. Maybe trying to let those tires wear in, maybe trying to let Justice burn up his stuff. as with 45 laps, that's going to be 35 to go now here at the line. And there are battles all over the place. Let's take a look at Santa. Logan Threlkeld here in the 30 machine, once again underneath Daniel Selway Jr. I mean, you know, here's the thing. Every time we look at Selway, he's battling with somebody. And right now, it's the 36 of George Jewell duking it out with the 30. But don't worry, in a few seconds, they're going to be up here with Selway again, I'm almost sure. As now fender to fender go the 30 and the 36 down the front stretch. That's Threlkeld and Jewell. Threlkeld in that white M&M's machine, big old red 30 on the top, and of course George Jewell in the 36 now being timed in 5th position. We take a look at your split here on the left-hand side of the screen. Charles Abert leads your AM driver. Skylar Daly in the double deuce running P2. Jacob Lenke, Dave Calvert, and Brock Price in the 43. That's your AM top 5 with Joseph McWhorter, Tyler Justice, Barrett Morton, Daniel Selway, Logan Threlkeld. That's your pro top 5. And right now, Charles Abert has that 7 in 7. And, you know, like I said earlier, that seems to be the magic position to pick up the win, at least at the AM level here in this league. 48 laps in the books now. We've had a few cautions tonight, nothing crazy, as side by side once again goes the 61 of Daniel Selway. I swear, it's like Selway doesn't want to just, you know, run a race. He wants to battle this thing out. Now he goes just behind Barrett Morton and in front of Logan Threlkeld. And Santa now starting to come up toward him as they drift out of turn 2 and down the backstretch, nearly making contact. The 30 better hope he doesn't get sucked into that dirty air off the 61. I think that's what we've seen more often than not tonight. And of course, most of that was coming off of turn 4 onto the front stretch. And it looks like we're going to safely do it again. But wow, the 30 really, nearly makes contact with the 61. Selway and Threlkeld go dueling here in beautiful sunny Florida. We work lap number 50. We're now going to be 30 to go this time by. Joseph McWhorter, your race leader, he is just out there setting sail. And he, you know, a little bit ago, he was just about at 0.2 of a second and has now extended his lead over Tyler Justice to nearly 0.6 of a second. We can see here with Kristen running in P12 at the moment. Jason Kristen, of course, in the 82 machine. He's got about, a little bit over 0.1 of a second in front of him. And then, of course, he's got Dave Calvert about the same behind. So great position to be in if you want to keep a clean race car and be there to battle it out at the end. You know, so many people you can see, they just blow their races early on and they spend the entire rest of the day just, you know, grumbling. Working here on lap number 52 as the 34 now tries to duke it out. That's Casey Jones, and just like that, the 73 back in the mix, if you will. The 73 involved in an earlier incident, back moving in the right direction. That's Jeremiah Holt. And he's got Huling Kauser on one side and Brock Price on the other. So again, another driver with plenty of real estate, you know, and that space, that buffer area, that's what's going to be a key factor for a lot of these drivers bringing home a clean race car. You know, this isn't exactly like, you know, Q Branch from 007, but, you know, nobody's going to be bringing that thing back in pristine order. But right now it seems like there's a couple of drivers who've decided, hey, listen, I can't be there at the end if I don't make it to the end. A battle going deeper in the field. Let's take a look at Daniel Parks in the 71 looking to the inside of the 08 of Thaddeus Friel Jr. They're back here. Watch the 71 to the inside of Friel. As Friel holding his own here on the high side, they cross the start-finish line, duking it out, and now the 71 of Daniel Parks has decided to go single file in this three-way battle for 17th position. Oh! Right across the nose of Ashton Azra Nolan goes Daniel Parks. But Parks manages to make it stay right between the navigational beacon as we work lap number 54. the 75 of Chuck Pegleg Feltz out of Los Alamos, Mexico. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not. I didn't know anybody could be from Los Alamos. And we're going to take a quick peek on over here with Corey Smith. Corey, what do you have going on over in the Eastern Conference?
Well, we're under caution here in the Eastern Conference. We're 1 to go when we're coming around turn 4, about to take the green flag. We had a caution, and everybody came on down for service. And we have a new leader. The race off pit road was won by, of course, Mark Whitley, and he's about to put us back under green. Green flag's in the air. We're back underway. Lap 30 out of the 80-lap race tonight. You can see they're side by side going into 1. Christian Angel has made the high line work pretty well tonight, but it looks like his tires aren't up to temp. He's fading back. That's going to allow Ryzen Baker and Sean Kaiser to get underneath as they head down the back straightaway. They're going to come down into turns number 3 and 4. There's Angel. He's got the tires working. He's going to beat Baker off of 2. They're side by side. And it's going to be Angel by half a car length going down into 1. Mark Whitley already stretched it out to half of a second. It might be his race to lose. Just a quick recap for what happened under caution. Some major playoff stories here as Claire Sisk ended up with a heavy damage, had to take a fast repair. Now is 3 laps down. Claire is in 9th place in the amateur division coming into this race, and that's going to be a tough hill to climb for her. Josh Unger just has to take care of business at this point. James Goshen, who's on the last car looking in the pro division, he's currently running in 20th place, so a long way to go. He's got to finish pretty far ahead as Brandon Wallace. As we're under caution again, a wreck for 2 of our front runners. Looks like the 46 of Sean Kaiser and the 77 of Ryzen Baker, probably the only 2 cars who had anything from Mark Whitley tonight. They're damaged and in the back. Let's take a look at the V-Speed Instant Replay. Looks like he had the run coming up and just tapped him. And that's all it takes to get him around, hit the inside fence, and heavy damage to those cars. They'll be able to get back around and repaired, but you don't want to start in the back of the field here. So now we got Mark Whitley picking up the pace car on turn 2. Pit road's going to be open this time around. Just a recap of our running order right now. We got Mark Whitley in first, Christian Angel in second. That's the race we've been watching. But then you got Patrick Fuller, Jamie Libke, Benjamin Richards, Kyle Deering, Alan Smith, Jake Ellingson, Jake Ham, and Timothy Williams rounding out your top 10. Big movers this race has been Jamie Libke, up 16 spots. So not a great qualifying run for her, but now she's right up there in the top 5. Everyone pitted on lap 27. I don't expect a whole lot of takers from this position, but maybe some alternate strategies can get you in a race-winning position as you see Benjamin Richards coming down from 10th. A few takers, probably for fuel, just to top off and make it to the end of the race. You see the Richards fell about 10 positions back. He's going to come out 19th after receiving his service. Looks like fuel only for most of these, but you got Mark Cofield. Looks like he's taking some tires. Going to try to get up some track position as we go green here with about 37 laps into the race when the green flag drops. All right, we're going to send it back to the Western Conference. Dave, what's going on over there?
Green flag pit cycle's underway as we're working with just about, let's see, lap 63. We've got 18 laps to go. Right now, the 90 is down on pit road. There's been several drivers who have come on down. Everybody getting that last bit of fuel for tires. Jeremiah Holt has been cycled up to the race lead so far. He last came down on lap number 33. It should, after all the dust settles here after this cycle of pit stops, looks like Daniel Selway may be our new race leader. It's all going to depend on who comes out and when. And of course, God forbid there should be the almighty caution throwing a real wrench into this. Right now, Logan Threlkeld in the 30, overall being scored in 10th position, trying to make his way around. We take a look here at the 61 and the 72. That, of course, is Selway and McWhorter. One of the things that I think it's important to note is that some of these drivers, especially Selway and McWhorter, they each came down on lap number 59, so they're going to be equally matched. And Selway's been battling it out with everybody he's been near tonight. Nobody's, just kind of wandered away with at least him tonight. Everybody's had to battle it out with Daniel Selway. Now looking to the inside and getting a great run is Joseph McWhorter, something that we've seen so many times. And now McWhorter gets around the 61 here with 16 laps to go. And looks like Craig Bontrager, he gets cycled forward. Warren Clayton, the last driver not to come down for pit service, and that will actually cycle Joseph McWhorter up to the race lead once Clayton and Bontrager come down. And, one of the hard things about pit strategy is, do you go down early? Do you go down late? And, at least speaking for myself, I would prefer to go down early, get it done, see where everybody else lands. If you try to go in the middle of a pit cycle, bad things can happen, especially with all of those drivers coming down at that point. You run the real risk of winding up in a wreck. But 14 laps to go. Bontrager and Clayton still opting to stay out. I don't know what they think they're accomplishing besides putting themselves and everybody else at risk. And now Clayton comes down. Bontrager is left all alone out here. Bontrager out of Goshen, Indiana, is going to have some issues here, at least if he doesn't get out of the way soon. The 61 of Daniel Selway is now trailing Joseph McWhorter by 0.6 of a second, almost stuck up against the wall. So it's entirely possible that, we're starting to see the way that this thing is going to end with 13 to go. And now the 34 of Casey Jones gets in front of the 49 of Bontrager. So, Bontrager not exactly lighting the world on fire with that driving. At this point, I think you've done as much as you can, and there it is. Coming on down to pit road to complete this cycle of green flag pit stops is going to be Craig Bontrager. That's going to put Joseph McWhorter back up into the race lead as he's going to come on out of turn 4 and take that over now that Bontrager is getting 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast down in the pits. And now you've heard it, you've thought about it, he's back. It's Joseph McWhorter, followed by Daniel Selway, Tyler Justice, Barrett Morton, and Logan Threlkeld now. Charles Abert leading things over on the M side with Jacob Lenke, Skylar Daly, Brock Price, and Thaddeus Friel Jr. That's your top 5 over on the AM side. So, an interesting development here, especially as Charles Abert has been working all season long to try to have, better finishes and better finishes. And, Abert right now, once again, the 7-7. And that 7th position, if you look back at our stats, this is just one of those things that I feel like we've just seen time and time again, where 7th position on the AM side is what gets you the win. Joseph McWhorter now trying to hold Daniel Selway off, and Selway not satisfied with the P2 finish. He's got 1 car to beat. He closes to less than 1/10 of a second and now doesn't have what it takes to get off turn exit. And I mean, at a place like this, you can have a really good entrance or a really good exit, but it's so hard to get both at either end of those turns. However, Joseph McWhorter, he's getting that job done, and quite honestly, McWhorter has not been let's just say a stranger, if you will, to victory lane, as now the 72 leads the 61 of Daniel Selway, the St. Robert driver works here on lap number 71. We're 10 laps to go now at Homestead Miami Speedway, and just an absolutely great venue here in Homestead. I mean, you're about 28, 29 minutes outside of Miami overall, so you can be on South Beach in a matter of minutes, and believe me, we did it. A few hours outside of Key West as we go on board now with Daniel Selway, as we're trying to see what Selway's strategy is going to be now. He's not getting a great entry like McWhorter is. I think this comes down to preparation and seeing if you can outskill, your fellow drivers. And one of the things that makes Goat Locker Racing, and especially the Glove Station ARCA Series, not only do we have two conferences, the East and the West, not only do we have Pro and Am divisions within each of those conferences, but also we've got fixed setups. So this is all driver skill that these guys are having to boogie around this place with. There's nothing that says, I've got a better setup in this car and I've got the race setup and the Q setup. No, everybody is equal. So this is all driver skill as we go on board here with Daniel Selway. Of course, out of Canton, Ohio, the birthplace of the National Football League. As now he comes into turn one. He's going to stay on this high side. Oh, a kiss of the wall. That's going to cost him. As now he's allowed Joseph McWhorter to open a 0.6 of a second lead. Trying to get a good exit is Selway, but Selway, there's just too much real estate and not enough time to make it up. I want to take a quick peek here at Jeremiah Holt working to the inside of Skylar Daly. Daly here working on the high side with Holt trying to get around, and Holt now has the 43 on the high side. That's Brock Price, and now Brock Price drops back, and he's going to watch this duel down the front stretch with 6 laps to go. The 73 of Jeremiah Holt trailing Skylar Daly. And now Daly kind of giving up the ghost to some degree as we're going to come out of turn number 4. Turn 2 and down the back chute. These drivers, they're not going to be put to bed early. It doesn't matter if that ticker says 5 to go. They're going to get this thing done. Here at Homestead Miami Speedway, you're watching the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series live here on V-Speed. Want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. Joseph McWhorter, your race leader, with this battle raging behind him. And, all things considered, some of these drivers, they're not going to go to bed easily tonight, as they are 3 wide. The 82 of Jason Kristen just dropped out of the way. We've got another 3-way battle deeper in the field. I mean, it just seems like no matter where we look on the racetrack, there's something different. There's at least a couple of battles. We're not just sitting single file forever, which, believe me, that can get really boring as a viewer. That can get really frustrating as a race car driver. And, whether that race car is virtual or real, these drivers put a lot of work in, and they soak themselves in competition as we're 4 laps to go here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Joseph McWhorter, Daniel Selway, Tyler Justice, Barrett Morton, George Jewell, and Logan Threlkeld. That's your top 6. Charles Abert running P7 leads the way for the Am drivers. Then he's got Jacob Lenke, Skylar Daly, Brock Price, and Thaddeus Friel Jr. back in 5th position. Of course, if we were watching the Dan Patrick show, that would be Thaddeus Friel Jr. the 3rd. As Joseph McWhorter going to lead this piece. Tyler Justice having to hold off Barrett Morton for at least another couple of laps here as they roll out of turn 4 and crossing the start-finish line. We're 2 laps to go here at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Western Conference. Your pro driving leader is Joseph McWhorter. He's got the 72 in great position, but Tyler Justice and Barrett Morton, they have got to try to get around Daniel Selway Jr., and Selway's been battling it out with everybody on the racetrack that he's come into contact with. And as McWhorter comes out of turn 3 and 4, he's got that start-finish line in his sights. The white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Joseph McWhorter trying to boogie around this place one final time. Daniel Selway having to hold off Tyler Justice and Barrett Morton. It looks like Justice and Morton are ready to make the move, and Justice gets to the low side. He's going to be pushed around now by the 9. They go door handle to door handle, all while Joseph McWhorter gets ready to cross the start-finish line. This battle here raging. Joseph McWhorter comes out of turn 4. He sees the man in the stand. He's got the checkered flag in his hand, and Joseph McWhorter going to pick up the pro win and drag racing down the front stretch is the 61 and the 9. Tyler Justice finishes P2. Daniel Selway, after a long battle all night long, he picks up the other podium spot. And don't look now, but Charles Abert has now increased where those AM drivers finish. He's going to finish 6th overall and capture the AM checkered flag as Joseph McWhorter picks up his win. Charles Abert picks up the AM win. And it's just been an impressive night for all of these drivers. Is everybody going to have to cool their jets down, so to speak, as we get ready to talk to our two winners, Charles Abert and Joseph McWhorter. McWhorter's been here a number of times. Abert out of Chehalis, Washington, now coming down the front stretch, crossing that start-finish line. It's time to celebrate right here at the start-finish line. Just going to wait for these drivers to pop on in here to the chat. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, at least here to the West Series. And, of course, the East is coming right at you after we talk to Joseph McWhorter and Charles Abert. And I see Joseph McWhorter in the waiting room. And there he is, winner of the Pro Checkered Flag tonight. It's Joseph McWhorter. Hey, Joseph, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, man, listen, great fought race tonight. I mean, you win from the pole, which is something that you're pretty much used to at this point. I mean, great green flag pit stop cycle. I mean, what are you going to be thinking about, as we get ready to turn the lights off here at Miami?
Yeah, just building momentum for the championship. It's going to be interesting to see how everything all splits up. How the admins are going to decide how to do that for the championship playoff run. So, kind of curious to see who all we have to face coming from the east side. And I guess going back and kind of watching some of the races and see how we stack up against some of those guys over there on the other series. And just really put our head down and keep the momentum up and hopefully come away with another championship.
Without a doubt, yeah. I can't wait to see what that playoff format's going to look like starting, of course, next week. But before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done on the 7 team?
Yeah, first I want to thank Outlier Speedco. They've been an amazing partner. We just won a really big championship on Friday night against a lot of really good guys and Road to Pro guys. And so big shout out to Johnny and the boys over at Outlier Speedco. Go check them out at outlierspeedco.com. Red Camel Racing, go check them out at redcamelracing.com. Fire suit, shoes, helmets, anything that you need for a race weekend, they've got it. That's redcamelracing.com. 29 Graphics, check them out on Trading Paints at 29 Graphics 29 Graphics on Trading Paints. You guys at V-Speed for putting on the broadcast, drivers for a really good race tonight, the admins for the hard work, and ready to next week and kick off these playoffs.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That's the voice of our winner of the Pro Trophy. It's going to be Joseph McWhorter. And now, last but certainly not least here, winner of the AM side tonight, Charles Abert. Hey, Charles, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Roger.
Buddy, listen, great finish tonight. Usually it's 7th position gets the AM win, but you decided to go one better tonight and finish in 6th overall to get this AM win. How do you feel right now?
I feel great. It was we practiced a lot this week. Kevin Price threw up some practices, and I thought I had a good pace long run. So I'm glad it paid off.
Yeah, good pace on the long run is definitely a key, especially boogieing around this place. Of course, now you've got them cool shades and everything sliding right there here on V-Speed. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, of course, and there you go. There's the big old smile. I see you've done your hair for the occasion. We appreciate that. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank, and who else helped you get it done tonight on the 7 machine?
I want to thank our title sponsor, Glove Station. Thank you very much. I have a nice pair of their gloves that I use quite frequently outside. Want to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22, and InVets as well. I also want to thank the broadcast team and the whole GRLR family for supporting everybody.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congrats once again on picking up the AM win. We'll see you next week at IRP.
Thank you very much.
That the voice and the mug of Charles Abert as we wrap things up here on the Western Conference. We're going to head on over for the East and see what Corey has going on. Corey?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Eastern Conference. There has been no shortage of action here, and there are major playoff implications at play. You see our leader, Christian Angel, but it's Jake Ellingson right behind him. It's a two-horse race for the lead right now. Jake Ellingson is sitting in 10th place in the pro standings in the East as he's making a way onto the inside for the lead in order to take down that last playoff spot as there's contact going into 3. He's got the inside line. He forced Angel high. He's going to have it. Is he going to be able to clear coming down the front straightaway? He's clear and he makes it. New leader, Jake Ellingson. But Christian Angel going to try to run back into the inside. They're going to touch going into 1. They're still tied together going into 2, side by side. Coming out, it's going to be Ellingson up top with the run. He's going to be half a car length ahead as they head down. While we were away, you had Mark Whitley take 4 tires. He took 2 at lap 27, but now he has 4 tires, and he's charged up from 20th to 3rd. He's catching the 2 leaders as they're still side by side, as Ellison's going to lead that lap by about 8 inches, headed down into 1. At the start of this run, Christian Angel took a big, about 2-second lead. I wonder if he used up all his tires, but Jake Ellingson finally reeled him in, and they are battling nonstop as there's more contact going into 3. They're banging doors as they go through. Ellingson tucks down to the bottom. He's going to have to come down. He's going to pit, and Angel's going to take the lead solo, and he's going to be about a second ahead of Mark Whitley. Green flag stops are underway. Final call for pit road action. Catching you up on a little bit more, we had our first retirement of the race, Claire Sisk. Claire was 9th, only 10 points outside of the playoff picture, but her regular season is done. There'll be no championship for her this year. As you see, Christian Angel coming down pit road. He's going to match 1 lap later. Don't get caught speeding. And there you see Angel, Baker, and Kaiser going to pit. Alan Smith behind him. And Kyle Deering behind Alan. No mistakes on pit road. It is way too costly to speed and have to come through again under green. As we watch the 79 of Angel take service, let's check on that time. Looks like it's going to be a 2-tire stop for Angel. Going to try to make that work to try to get ahead of Whitley and stay ahead. Ryzen Baker's going to beat him off pit road. They're currently showing in 13th and 14th, but they're going to cycle out as the leaders. Mark Whitley's still on the track. He was one of the few that took gas and tires on that last stop. He's going to be good for a while. As we're showing on board now with the 74 of Mark Whitley, as Ryzen Baker is the first car a lap down right behind him. 19 laps to go here, and now 18. Currently only 10 cars on the lead lap as we're working through green flag pit stops. Whitley's got the 74 machine, 79 machine, and Christian Angel trying to get his lap back with Ryzen Baker right in front of him. About 14 lap newer tires for those cars, but Whitley's making them work for now. We're on board with Christian Angels. He's going for trying to get his lap back. He's going to run high and do it. Coming out of 4. Whitley still your leader. It'd be interesting to see how far Mark Whitley can go on that tank as we're now checking the battle for 14th. Going to have the 13 of Patrick Fuller trying to catch Alan Smith. Only a 10th and a half behind. Good battle here. Fuller's going to peek to the inside. Now he's going to go out. Allen's going to guard the bottom. Fuller going to run the top and make a little bit of ground up, but he's got a car in the way, the 85 car of Jay Cam. Not going to make it happen here. Allen a little bit low. Going to maintain the low line. Fuller's going to follow one lane up. Kyle Deering right behind him if he makes a mistake. These three are a lap down. They have pitted already, waiting for Mark Whitley to take any service. As you see, Smith and Fuller work around Sidaria Day, who is on the lead lap but on older tires. He's going to give way. The view out of the back of the 00 of Alan Smith. Smith guarding the bottom very well as Fuller comes within a little contact with the wall, but he's got to run. He's going to try to get to the inside of Smith. He can't do it. Smith protecting the bottom very, very well. Now Deering's on the back bumper of Fuller, trying to make a move as they go and head down towards the 1. Fuller's got the run. He's going to go for the high side. He's a car length and a half as Smith still gets a better run on the bottom. Going to drive it high. And he's going to get away with 3 car lengths. Deering is trying to put a move on Fuller. Fuller has to watch both the windshield and the rear view. Deering's going to go down low. He's going to try to make a move and try to use the 0-2 as a block. Smith's going to go inside of the 2 car. And they're 3 wide coming out of 4. Deering is going to get to the inside of Fuller, and he's going to make the pass. And that allows Alan Smith to get about 6 car lengths ahead as these all now cycle up to 11th as the green flag cycle continues. Back to Mark Whitley, who's still leading. He's led 23 laps. I got to wonder if Mark Whitley is right at the edge of the field. You can hear those RPMs. It sounds like he's clutching in the turns. We got to see if that'll save enough time and save enough fuel for him to make it. Your top 5 all pitted on lap 41, but Whitley was the only one that took tires that put him all the way back to 20th place. But he's made that up, and he's ahead of everybody else on his strategy as they did not take tires. As you see Timothy Williams get his lap back, there are now 10 cars on the lead lap. Alan Smith, your first car, a lap down. About 3.5 seconds behind him, you've got the 65 of Samuel Yosef on the same strategy. Did not take tires on that last stop. Or excuse me, he took right side tires only. So he's trying to nurse these things back to the, and he's going to pit. He's diving down. And there's a spin at the entrance of pit road. As we see Alan Smith now at the 11 car. Working his way into 11th. Having a nice battle with Kyle Deering, who got clear of Patrick Fuller a few laps ago. All three of these cars have your leader, Mark Whitley, in sight. They want their lap back in case there's a caution. As we see Samuel Yosef complete his service. Yosef only got a splash of gas, just enough to get him to the end of the race, but it's going to cost him a lap. He's going to come out. He's going to come out in the middle teens. So here's your ninth place car. Alan Smith, he's going to try to catch Mark Whitley. Amateur leader right now. Taking a 3-car train up to the front. Try to get it around the leader, Mark Whitley. Fuller's going to make a move to the inside on Deering. It's a move for 10th place. Deering's got the run on the high side. Fuller's coming down underneath. They're going to be side by side coming to the straightaway. It's going to be Fuller by half a car length at the start-finish line. Now you've got Alan Smith, who's your amateur leader, running 9th overall. He is right on the back bumper of Mark Whitley in the 74. He's not about to take no for an answer, as he's going to dive to the inside. Way fresher tires than Whitley. Not going to have any problem. Going to get it done in one turn, and he's clear with 13 laps to go. Fuller's going to be in tow. He wants to get his lap back as well. Deering says, I'm going to join the party, and it's going to be a 2-for-1 special in turns 1 and 2. So Whitley's still your race leader. You got J Cam on the same strategy, only about 2.5 seconds behind. And then you got Brandon Wallace 9 seconds back on the same strategy. Everyone else from 4th on back pitted in the last 15 laps. Smith brushes the wall. He's now got Fuller to his inside. Mark Whitley coming down the back straightaway for the final time. Does he have enough fuel? He's going to use the draft of Alan Smith and Kyle Deering to try to get around. I don't think there's any stopping him now. And it's going to be Mark Whitley with his 6th win of the season here at Homestead. The battle for the amateur win is heated up as Patrick Fuller has passed Alan Smith. He's about 6 car lengths clear. Can he hold it for the final time coming down through 3 and 4? Looks like he's going to cruise all the way home, and Alan Smith won't have enough. But Kyle Deering tries to make a move on Alan Smith, won't get it done. And here is your 1, 2, 3 in the amateur division. It's going to be Patrick Fuller, your amateur winner. So Mark Whitley leads 32 laps tonight. He took a lap 27 pit strategy where he took 2 tires. That got him to the front of the pack. Kept him in the top 3 for the entire run. Comes to gets new tires on an alternate strategy and takes it all the way to victory lane. He's going to burn it down at the start-finish line. Well, not much of a burnout because he's finally run out. Patrick Fuller is going to have a much more modest celebration, I think, as he's going to cruise down pit road for his post-race inspection. But in the Pro Division, it's Mark Whitley with his 6th win of the season, and that's one way to enter the playoffs. All right. Well, we're going to move to our post-race interview. We are sitting here with our Pro Division winner, Mark Whitley. Mark, you got a copy down there?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, you took an alternate strategy. Looked like you took 2 tires out of the third of the way through the race. They didn't seem to work. You came and got 4 fresh, and you made your way all the way from 20th to 2nd. And then you seemed to make that last the rest of the race. How'd you get it done?
Yeah, that little strategy call in the middle of the race, I just took gas only, no tires, just to try to get some track position. After that, battling with my teammate for a little bit. He got around me right when the caution came out, and it was just right at halfway / right, like, a lap or 2 after halfway. And I'm just like, all right, I'll come in, get tires. I figured more people were going to pit than they did. And then I was able to kind of drive through traffic a pretty decent amount. And then once I got to about 3rd or 4th, I looked down, I saw I was only a couple laps short, and I'm like, you know what? Just, I don't want to burn the stuff up trying to catch them. So I just started clutching it, saving gas, and everybody started coming down pit road, and I kept saving. And finally, about 4 or 5 laps to go, I knew I was going to have enough as long as I kept running the way I was. And I got, a bunch of lap cars right there, got by me right at the end. I just didn't want to get in their way. I didn't want them to, cause a caution or anything. So just trying to take it nice and easy. And then I pushed the clutch in coming off board. I wanted to see if I could do a little bit of a burnout. And I was able to do a little donut here or there, but it was pretty much well and dry.
Well, you dominated the Pro East Series during the regular season. What's it going to take to win in these playoffs?
It's just going to take more consistency, some luck. It's just how the playoffs work. Playoffs always, you never know what's going to happen. You could have a really good race, you could have a really bad race, and put you behind the 8 ball. So it's just going to take being consistent and running up front, trying to stay out of trouble, and hope for the best. And if you get a bad situation, you're just going to have to rebound from it.
All right. Well, tell us who got you here today.
Hey, big shout out my sponsor and my spotter, Brantley over at Harpoon Designs. He's up on top of the spotter stand every week. I appreciate him helping me give me information on cars behind me there at the last run, making sure I was saving enough fuel. He does all my paint jobs. He does awesome, amazing work. So check him out at harpoondesign.com. My other sponsor, Jawa.gg. They're the one-stop shop for all your sim racing needs, pretty much gaming needs, PC gaming, upgrades, hardware, whatever you name it, they got it. Check them out at Jawa.gg. All the league sponsors here, Glove Station, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, all the guys that make this league what it is. It's always fun. You guys are putting on a broadcast. Everybody tuning in at home. Vector, a teammate, I know he was kind of dominant for the most of the race and just was on the wrong side of the fuel strategy. I know it sucks for him, but I guess it's good for us. But I know he'll rebound and beat a force in the playoffs.
Well, congratulations again to Mark Whitley, your race winner and regular season champion. Let's move on to Patrick Fuller, the amateur series winner tonight. Patrick Fuller, you got a copy of?
I do.
All right. Well, you made a really good move there with a couple laps to go. How'd you get it done tonight?
Yeah, it was getting real tight between Alan and Kyle and I. They pulled a pretty good pick move on me with some lapped cars. Car felt good. I felt good all night. Tires held up real well. I was able to run up front with the top 3 until the pit cycle. And then I kind of washed out a little bit, but now I was able to stick the bottom. I guess my tires were a little bit better than theirs. So.
All right. Well, who helped you get here tonight, and who do you have to thank?
Well, I'd like to thank obviously Glove Station and Goat Locker, Jam Printing and Promotions, B Speed, Alexander PCs, iRacing, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, and a special shout out to VetTix.
All right. Well, that's Patrick Foley, your Amateur Series winner. All right. As we bring back Dave Regal in, Dave, we had 2 pretty good races tonight, and we've set a playoff field for next week. How are you feeling after tonight's race?
I'll tell you what, tonight was incredible, but next week when we head on over to IRP, we're going to see those top 8 in each of the pro and the AM divisions, and I can't wait to see what happens. But overall, want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and making us a part of their evening, hanging out with us, and of course, welcoming us into their homes and onto your phones. We'll be back next week with opening night of the playoffs, the round of 8 underway here in the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series. For myself, Dave Regal, and of course my partner tonight, Corey Smith, and our producer, Eddie Smith, back in the truck, we want to thank everybody for hanging out. And tomorrow, and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.